Hey all, this is a 2019 BMW X5 and I gotta tell you, this is the best vehicle I've driven all year. And today in this video, I'm gonna tell you why. Have you guys ever wanted to find out what was wrong with your car before you took it to the mechanic? Well, with the Carly app for iPhones and Android phones, you can. Simply download the Carly app, hook your phone up to Carly's OBD2 wireless adapter, plug it into your vehicle's OBD port, and bam! You'll get a thorough diagnostic on your vehicle's health. Use the Carly app to find out exactly what needs fixing, or use it to run a systems check on a used vehicle you're buying for peace of mind. All right, here's what it discovered about our BMW. It says we're good to go. You can also play around and find hidden settings on your car and, for example, reprogram your LED headlights to shine brighter, or your keyless remote to close all your windows, and much more. The Carly app is available for a broad range of premium cars, especially BMW, Mini, Volkswagen, Audi, Toyota, and Lexus. Check out the link in the description below to find out more. Pricing starts at $79 for the adapter and the app. So click on the link below or go to mycarly.com to figure out and learn more about what mycarly can reveal about your vehicle. I guess we can start with the size. At 194 inches, the BMW X5 slots perfectly between, well, the X3 and the X7. Go figure, but it's the right size for American roads. It can be had in a 3-row configuration, but this one is a 2-row. It's the one you want, and this particular trim is spec'd out exactly how I would spec out mine. I think what I like most about the BMW X5 for 2019 is everything you touch inside and out is just super high quality. This door handle is elegantly sculpted into the side of the door, and it's not some crummy plastic. Then you've got the leather throughout. You've got this nice metal trim down the side with this blue accent light, but it's also full of some really helpful features. For example, you've got your 4 traditional window controls right here. They work as you'd expect, but you also notice a 5th control in front of the 4, and this is actually the control for your power trunk. And what's nice about it is typically auto manufacturers hide the remote trunk release somewhere underneath the dash. You can't find it, it's hard to fumble with. In this one, you just push the button down, it opens both the top and the bottom hatch. Let me show you what I mean. The BMW X5 has this very handy split tailgate, and it's been an X5 feature for a number of generations. This is actually the 4th generation X5. Now, the way it works is you can operate the top part of the split independently from the bottom part. And this is how I use this vehicle most of the time. So you can simply just push the button underneath the logo, the top part opens up, and then I have access to the rear cargo area. If I want to open up the bottom section though, I just push a button and it folds elegantly down, and then simply just lift it up like that. There are a bunch of other great features in the trunk of the X5. First of all, underneath this rear floor, you'll find a very large storage cubby, and this rear floor is actually held up by a gas shock, which is a nice premium touch. But the best part by far is the fact that you can simply fold the rear seats by pulling a lever from the trunk. They fold down flat. You don't have to walk around the edge to fold them down. You just do it from the rear. It's not automatic, but I actually don't mind that because they fold down nice and quick. Plus you even have your pretty standard luggage screen here that is completely removable. In the front of the X5, you'll notice the classic BMW kidney grills, and I actually don't think they look too large or out of proportion on the X5. They look just right, unlike, well, this. But you'll also notice a new headlight LED light signature compared to the previous generation. We've got these 2 LED bars that run along the bottom of the headlight, and I think they look really cool, especially coming at you in traffic. Stepping inside the new BMW X5, and you'll notice one of my favorite parts of the entire vehicle, and that is this interior color. It's actually an option. It's called Cognac, and it's $1,450, but it is this beautiful burnt orange. I think it just really fits the character of this vehicle, especially against this dark blue. But we have a number of interesting features we have to talk about on the inside of the X5. We can start the tour by talking about the steering wheel. This particular X5 is far from loaded. Now the X5, I have the Monroney here, starts at $60,700. This one is $67,505 with a few options, but An X5 can go well into the 80s, but this steering wheel is just your standard steering wheel, not even the M Sport, and yet it is so sporty. I've got a lot of bolstering around the edges, and my favorite part is the little heated steering wheel button mounted on the inside of the wheel. That is an option, but it is an option I would strongly recommend. And speaking of heating, this vehicle not only has heated seats front and rear, which is a $350 option, but for $250, you also get a heated steering wheel and my favorite feature of all, the heated armrest. So both the center console and the left armrest are heated, which is awesome when you're in Colorado in the wintertime. You have a full heat cocoon around you in the steering wheel, the armrest, and of course the seats. The next thing you'll notice in the X5 is just a sheer number of screens everywhere. Now the X5 comes standard with a digital cluster here. It's pretty good. It shows, of course, your speed, and then the right side is all configurable, and I like how they incorporate the navigation in the center. But you also get your standard iDrive system that you'd find in many BMWs, but my favorite of the screens is this little tiny screen in the middle that's used exclusively for climate control. I like how it kind of fades on and then disappears slowly and elegantly. Let's talk about some other cool things in the X5. You'll find a number of different drive modes here on the center console. This is not the V8, this is not an M version at all, but you'll still find Sport, Comfort, and Eco Pro. Speaking of Eco Pro, I have the Monroney here, and the EPA rates this vehicle at 22 mpg combined. We've actually driven this vehicle a lot, several thousand miles, and we're averaging 26 mpg combined. Mostly highway driving, but that's great to hear because that means, according to the car, it's meeting its highway mpg number of 26. Speaking of efficiency, let's talk about it for a sec. Because this X5 has BMW's 3-liter straight six under the hood. It's got a turbo bolted to it, develops 335 horsepower, and it is silky smooth, so incredibly refined. Now there is also a 4-liter twin turbo V8 available if you want over 450 horsepower, but this is for sure the engine I would go with. It's got tons of torque throughout the power band. It really zips this vehicle along. Redline over 6,500 RPM. It just sings throughout the rev range. And it's also got a 48-volt hybrid system that combined makes it both a torquey, efficient, and really fun engine. On the road, the BMW X5 is surprisingly agile, and yet the suspension is not too firm. The X5 is actually available with an optional air suspension. This car you see here has the steel springs, and I must say they do a great job of absorbing the bumps. One of my favorite features with the new X5 is actually a convenience feature, because as long as I have the key in my pocket, if I walk up next to it, the car will automatically unlock without me even touching it. And then when I walk away, the car will lock itself yet again. Not crazy in terms of the automotive landscape and what you can get in vehicles, but it is a nice and easy way of driving the vehicle without even thinking whether or not it's locked or unlocked. The rear seat in the X5 is actually quite a nice place to spend time as well. Decent legroom and very adequate headroom, even with this massive sunroof. There are a couple nice things back here that you might notice. For example, rear zone climate control. This one, of course, has the heated rear seats like we mentioned, but one of the coolest things is actually in the back of each the driver and passenger seats. You'll find not only a USB-C charger, but a little slot with a little cover. You pull that cover back and BMW will sell you several accessories to put back here. It could be an iPad holder or maybe just a hook for a purse or some bags. There are some features on the BMW that aren't so good. For example, this BMW Connected Drive app is, well, it's pretty useless. For example, I'll lock the car right now and it says service cannot be performed, even though I literally just tried it and it didn't work. Okay, so what about unlocking? Service cannot be performed. And lights, service cannot be performed, even though I have very good service and so does the car. So the app is not very good. It also says last updated in March, which the owner tells me is just not the case. Other things that aren't so good, even at 60 grand, you still don't get standard heated seats or standard easy access key. I mean, and even at 67 grand, we don't even have cooled seats. So stuff like that, BMW will still charge a lot for. So there you have it, my review of the 2019 BMW X5. Sure, it's not the most flashy, the fastest, or the most affordable vehicle I've driven this year, but it has such a great combination of luxury, performance, and style that I think it's the best all-around package I really have driven this year. As always, go back to tflcar.com for more news, views, and real-world reviews, and thank you once again for tuning in.